On Tuesday, the 29th of July 2025, it's coffee time with Peter Gomez, and we are back with the Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Ismail Cisse, and for the next half hour or so, we'll be looking at your questions for him. And the first we are reading for you this Tuesday morning is all the way from Kenya, Nairobi perhaps. Definitely Nairobi, from ML. Good afternoon, Mr. Gomez. Yes, they are 3 hours ahead of us, so it's after 1 o'clock there, I believe. And it says, good afternoon, Mr. Gomez and the Honorable Minister. Can the Minister please help to bring the Foreign Minister on the program? Gambians in the diaspora are facing difficulties, especially those in Mauritania. In Kenya, we don't have an embassy here, and those in Ethiopia are overseeing East African countries. Well, they will not even answer calls or reply to emails. It is good that the minister is around every week to give us updates and answer questions, but some questions will be better answered by the ministers in charge. All ministers are relevant, but the health and foreign ministers should be available to talk to the people.
Well, I think
And unfortunately, these have been some of the most inaccessible
ministers, is it?
Yes.
Okay, I know that both ministers are media friendly.
Media friendly? What's your definition of media friendly?
Well,
how often do you hear Ahmadu Lamin Samate on radio? How often do you hear before Serigne Modu, Mamadou Tangara on radio or television? Or
well, we're not talking about Mutang. We're talking about Serigne Modu.
How often do you hear Serigne Modu on any media house?
Well, I'm not sure whether he was invited. I'm sure if he's invited, he will come. And then I know that it's also
I have invited him.
Yeah, let me just complete.
And there is a communication trail on my phone if you want to see it.
I know he would want to come. Okay. I know he would want to come and discuss his vision for the foreign service.
He's newly
appointed, exactly.
And maybe defense was so sensitive,
exactly.
He needed,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I think he will come and discuss his vision for the foreign service and the reforms he want to bring in the foreign service. I'll engage him. I know it's currently a lot of time, but when he comes,
you've been promising me engaging ministers. I mean, where's Jabi still?
Jabi is here. I think Jabi will come.
There are issues with Gamtel and monies they're supposed to be paid.
I think he had a very extensive interview on QTV last week with Aliou Cisse, and he really expanded on most of these issues, making clarifications. I think he would be happy to come. I think it's the timing sometimes that is a challenge, but I think the ministers are not shying away from the media. They'll be happy to come and talk to the Gambian people.
Okay, so ML's issue is,
what
can you say about the difficulties of Gambians in Mauritania?
Well, one thing is that we cannot have embassies in every capital city. We don't have the resources.
Okay, we have one in Mauritania, yet they're still suffering there. In Mauritania, according to reports.
Yes, but these challenges are beyond the control of the embassy. This has to do with immigration issues.
The Gambia is supposed to have very close relations.
The challenges they are facing are not a product of the embassy. It's not a fault of the embassy. These are problems with migration, with the Mauritanian state in terms of regularizing their stay. If the challenges and the embassy is doing extremely well under the leadership of Ambassador Faye in supporting Gambians, and this is facts we have from the ground. In fact, Gambians living in Mauritania are always calling to commend the ambassador and his team for the support they are giving them. And in fact, that is why they urge the Gambian authority to go to Mauritania and give them ID cards to be able to ameliorate some of their problems. Now, we cannot have embassies in every capital city. That all countries cannot have. If you even look at rich countries, some of the European Union countries have their embassies in Dakar that oversee Gambia. This happens. Now, the other issue about not being accessible, that is not acceptable. I think embassy staff must always be available to support Gambians. And
so
I think this is something I'll take up with the new Minister of Defense, that there has been complaints that...
No, the new Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Sorry, of Foreign Affairs, that this is coming up. I know that when he just took over, he had a conclave with all the ambassadors, a virtual conclave, trying to, that was a very good start. So I think he'll also engage them more to say, look, yes, your area is in Ethiopia, but you also are responsible for these other countries. So consider them and make sure that you make yourself accessible to them and be able to solve some of their problems.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. I was shocked yesterday to hear Essa, of all people, suggest that Jammeh was better than Barrow. As someone who served as lead counsel at the TRRC, he should know better. That most of the pain and trauma Jammeh inflicted, or rather, he should know better most of the pain and trauma Jammeh inflicted on this country. I'm very critical of President Barrow myself, but let's not whitewash history. Barrow's leadership may be weak and frustrating at times, but he is no dictator. Comparing him with Jammeh is not only unfair, it's dangerous.
It's the worst statement I've heard
I knew
in my entire... No, I mean, Peter,
I knew you would
to be honest,
on that.
no, I mean, it's not about... Let's forget about politics. I'm nothing against Essa. He's a fine gentleman. But to be honest, that statement, I think he should even retract and apologize for that statement to the Gambian people. That's an insult to the Gambian people. That's an insult to the Gambian people. As lead counsel for the TRRC, you had first-hand information of the atrocity of Yahya Jammeh, and you were, in fact, the manner in which he was questioning some of the people adversely mentioned shows how abhorrent those atrocities were. And you come here and sit in front of the Gambian people and say...
No, but he said minus the killings.
No, forget, not even...
He
you cannot justify or qualify it. I think he should come out and apologize to the Gambian. That's an insult to the Gambian people, that statement.
Okay, here's Lamin Cham challenging you, taking you on. Tell doctor to say how many people attended, and I will publish that tomorrow morning. He could not tell me how many people attended. If there were not thousands, how many were there? This is about the GALA protest.
Well, nothing more than 500 people. And we discussed this. He wanted me to give exact figures. I cannot give exact figures, but by our own estimates, and judging from aerial view of the protest, not more than 500 people attended the protest. So I think saying 1,000 is a misrepresentation.
Good morning, Peter. Your guest was touting Michael Gove as a successful Minister of Education under the David Cameron administration. For his information, UK teachers' unions had called Gove a failure and criticized his attempts to overhaul British education. At the Association of Teachers and Lecturers annual conference in March 2013, a motion of no confidence in Gove was passed. This was followed by the UK National Union of Teachers, which also had unanimously passed a veto of no confidence in Gove and called for his resignation at the time, just to set the record straight.
Well, that doesn't mean there was a bad education minister. Reforms are sometimes bitter pills, and sometimes the people who feel the pinch of reforms are not happy. If you come as an education minister and want to overhaul the entire education sector, sometimes the teachers must face the consequence and they won't be happy. But by and large, Michael Gove has been touted as one of the most successful education ministers in British history, and nobody can take that fact out.
And what if I told you that it was Mahdi Jobate that sent that text message?
Well, I'm not surprised.
Come on. Come on.
In fact, I suspected...
No, you did.
I suspected it would be nobody else than Mahdi Jobate, the so-called rights activist.
So-called?
Of course.
He is a rights
Mahdi
activist.
is a politician. Mahdi's gone political now. Mahdi's gone. You've lost Mahdi. Activists should take note. They've lost Mahdi. Mahdi's gone political.
Everybody says Mahdi is an activist, not a politician.
Mahdi's not an activist. Mahdi's gone political. Mahdi's gone. We've lost Mahdi.
What's your proof that
My
he's
proof
political?
is that his utterances, his actions, his demeanor,
Mahdi is speaking the way every activist does, passionately about the issues he addresses.
Mahdi's gone political in a skewed manner. Mahdi's gone political. So whatever Mahdi says, I don't take it. I take it with a handful of salt.
So whatever he writes about, whatever he speaks about, you take it to be political.
I don't even read what Mahdi writes. His essays, his dissertations. I don't read his dissertations. Mahdi can make a point by making 2 sentences. He writes 1 million sentences. I don't have time to read what Mahdi writes.
Yeah, the man has words.
He has time because he's idle. He has time. If he's busy, he wouldn't be sitting writing all those types of nonsense all day.
Greetings, Uncle Peter and Mr. Cisse. Please kindly remind the Information Minister that the road from Wellingara Tabokoto to Coastal Road has not been fixed since February when the contractor started the work. They only fixed less than 10%, and there is a rumor going around that the contractor has disappeared. The residents and commuters are seriously affected. Only he or the Works Minister can give us answers. From Alex.
The contractor has not disappeared. That is false. I think someone raised this the last time, saying that the contractor had gone into administration, which is also false. The contractor was facing some challenges with a particular bank, but that is resolved. I think work will start very soon. Remember, road construction is not easy. It means a lot of logistics. Work is ongoing, and the President and the government is committed to delivering all the road projects in urban Gambia as promised. But also I got something from the Minister of Trade.
Okay.
With regards to the flour issue with Kaliluwage, he said that Gambia Milling Company produces flour in Banjul. That's what Futa Enterprise, belonging to Kaliluwage, distributes for them.
That's GMC.
Yes.
Yes.
So Kaliluwage does not.
I was surprised
import
when
flour.
I was surprised when you say he distributes for.
Yeah, he distributes
whoever
for the
import.
Gambia Milling Company, GMC.
Okay.
That's what he does. He does not import flour. Those two that import do so under an MOU signed with the Bakers Union. They import for the Bakers Association only. And I think this should also be clear to the Gambian people. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Trade, for that information.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. GALA is not a political entity and they have no political affiliation. Ibrahim Asila said it is NPP coming out. Can you ask your guest, do we have NPP government or not? And what is the difference between NPP and government?
Well, NPP is a political party. Yes, it is NPP that was voted in and had the mandate to govern, but the government is the government. The NPP is a political party, an association which is registered in the Gambia, and they have a right to come out and protest just like the UDP did to make claims against corruption. GALA, yes, is not a registered political party, but there are people in GALA who are politically affiliated as well. They belong to some political parties. You cannot tell me that all those at GALA don't belong to political parties. In fact, some of them are political ambition. Now, what is important is that the NPP, as a political party, as a registered association, as Gambians, have a right to come out and express confidence in the government. They have a right to do that. Nobody can take the right away from them. That is the fact.
So when you say the NPP has a right, this will be a demonstration by NPP and only NPP members?
It is not a demonstration.
What do you call it?
It's coming out to show support and confidence for the government.
This is a coming out of only NPP supporters?
Not only NPP supporters. And all those Gambians who have confidence in the government, they are coming out.
Okay. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Just want to let Dr. Cisse know that all he's doing now is not something new, and it's a tactic we understand very well, because this was the same thing going on in Senegal just yesterday. Whatever Sonko says or claims he made, the Macky Sall government will brand it as false and misleading, misinformation from him. So if he Cisse thinks that we are sleeping, he will realize in 2026 that he's the one who is delusional and not Essa.
Well, I think whenever I challenge Essa assertions, I give proof. That doesn't mean that shows that clearly I have the facts. It's not like I'm just coming to say he's not taking. No, I'm giving facts. When he talked about the economy, I give facts. On anything, I give facts. I give facts. And until those facts are debunked, I stand to be corrected. But also, remember, you challenged him yesterday on something that he could not provide the facts. When he said that the Office of the President gets $1 billion for their budget, you told him I said that is also for OVP and the state guards, logistics and feeding, and also all the institutions on the OVP. He said, well, that's what they will say. But he did not give you counterfacts to that. He should provide the facts to tell us that is not the case. That is the case. So if you challenge something, bring us the facts. I challenge him, I'm bringing the facts. So we are not just challenging him because we want to challenge him. We bring the facts for the Gambian people to decide.
Good morning, Peter. Tell this man there is life after this world. Can you ask him when are they going to fix our ferry problem? But we know Essa is better than him because he always says the truth.
Well, truth is relative. There's nothing like a truth. That is the truth. That's his opinion. I wouldn't delve into that much. The ferry is been fixed. We've ordered a brand new ferry, which is coming in December. It's almost done. The Kunta Kinte is under renovation. I think it should be running now. I'm not sure, and I cannot confirm that. I know there was a
Sila is listening.
I know there was an issue in terms of I think it collided with a fishing net. It had an issue with the engine. The canilla is running. It's not like there's a ferry crisis. There's no crisis. The ferry is operating as it is supposed to operate. The Turkish company Negma is soon done with their also ferry. So very soon the ferry issue will be an issue. Government is committed to ensure that we create the logistics necessary for people to be able to cross Banjul Bara easily. So there'll be a new ferry in December. Private sector players are coming, and Kunta Kinte and Kanila will also be running. So
it will be very interesting when NEGMA starts operation.
Yes.
Because what I suspect would be those who are coming straight into Banjul would continue using, the current ferry service.
Well, it depends on the service.
Those who are crossing from Senegal, maybe to move on to Casamas and whatever, would just take NEGMA and avoid going through.
It depends on the cost as well. Because remember, government subsidizes hugely the ferry, the Gambia ferry services. It means that if you are supposed to pay $100, you pay only $25.30. Government pays $70 for you. So NEGMA will not subsidize because it's a private company, and also I think NEGMA also has a ferry that can take up 100 cars. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah,
so it depends on the service. I think Gambia ferry services will have to up their game and make sure that now they're in competition.
Yep.
And people will go for that company that provide the best service for them.
Hello, Uncle Peter. I would like to correct Dr. Ismaila. Regarding the number of GALA protesters, we submitted 5 petitions, each containing 140 signatures, totaling 700 signatures, excluding those who did not sign. So that's already above the 500 threshold. Huh?
Well, I don't know how that works. I'm not sure about that. What I can tell you is that based on my assessment of what I saw from the aerial view, we don't have anything more than 500 people in that protest.
All right. Please, Peter, ask, how about if UDP want to do like NPP to also come out?
Well, they did it before. They sought for a permit and they were given a permit and they came out to protest against corruption. So I think that's for the police to decide. I mean, I said,
they can't apply to come out again after you've come out.
That's not for me to decide. That's for the police to do an assessment of the situation. It's the police that give permit. What I can say is that every Gambian has a right to come out and demonstrate, because as long as you do it within the framework of the law, that is what is important. That is the fundamental issue here.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. I'm really perplexed that Dr. Cisse would come out to defend the move to counter-protest in the name of promoting democracy. What is democratic about commending what is wrong? Gambians are suffering with little benefit from its taxes, which are mostly enjoyed by ministers and senior government officials. You heard from that child who was explaining why he and other students have to struggle to get leave to and from school just to have something to eat. By the way, this is referencing a report.
You know how many times I stood on the road begging for lift? I mean, begging for lift is not something new in this country. When I was going to school, sometimes I take my transport that's given to me and I'll do it and I beg for lift, begging for lift. I mean, who complains about that's been happening here since under the Jawara era. It's not like it's something new. The second, and also what the government has done in investing in school bus service is commendable. So there are there are vehicles running every day, everywhere. There's a public service transport which is functioning. There are bus stops here and there. So for me, that is not the issue. For me, what is important is that he said, I did not defend the counter-protest. I'm not defending it. What I'm saying is that if people have a right, I'm just talking about people's right to come out and do what the Constitution, what the law says. If people have a right to come out and express their displeasure against the government, equally, other people have the same right to come out and express their confidence in that particular government. That's what I'm saying. I'm not defending or against. I never went against the GALA protest when I came here last week. I said it's their right. So this also is their right to do so. I'm not defending or I'm not supporting anything or not supporting anything. I'm just saying that people's right to express their views, but people have a right to exercise their freedoms. That is what is important.
Good morning, Peter. Please let Mr. Cisse, Dr. Cisse, be reminded that we, the smart people, are listening, and he should know that as the doctor. He should know as a doctor, research and polling is based on sampling, and these numbers are used to extrapolate on the general public. Please tell him to spare us the deflection and mudslinging.
Well, I'm not deflecting, and I'm not also saying that polling is other than what he is saying. Yes, polling is important, but there is what they call... sometimes polling get it wrong, Peter. You remember the Brexit?
Yes.
All polls indicated that the British would not vote for Brexit.
Yeah.
Remember when Hillary Clinton contested against
Donald Trump? Yes. First,
all polls indicated that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Recently, there was another event, another election somewhere. All polls indicated that, but it was going another way. So there is what they call confounding variables in polling. And sometimes polls can be confounded. So my point was, you cannot use an election statistics which says 53%, 1 million people voted.
Yes.
Almost 1 million people, almost 90% of the one registered voters.
Yes.
And say, because of an opinion poll, your projection is that Barrow wouldn't get more than 30. That extrapolation is what is flawed in my view. Because polls have been confounded all over the world. Polls can get it right, they can get it wrong. So you cannot use that. What we saw in 2021 was empirical evidence that over 400,000 people voted for President Barrow. That is a fact. Now, polls, I'm not condemning polls or ruling them out, but I'm saying that they can be confounded sometimes and cannot be used sometimes in the manner in which Essa used it to project for 2026.
I like it when people remind us of promises we made and still not delivering on. Good morning, Uncle Peter. I am still yet to get a response from Dr. Cisse regarding a concern I raised some months ago about bail issues at Brusubi police station. Poor parents always have to pay cash to bail stubborn kids involved in some crimes. And
well, immediately he made that claim, I called the IGP.
How come we forgot all these past weeks?
No, I did not. I engaged the IG of police.
Okay.
And then, in fact, he was listening at that particular time. When I called him, he laughed. He said, "I know why you are calling."
I told you he's
yes. He said, "I know why you are calling." I said, "Well, this is serious." He said, "It's not supposed to happen. That is wrong. It's not supposed to happen." And then he will deal with the situation. And I hope he dealt with the situation because
apparently
it's not supposed to happen.
Apparently not.
Yes, I think the police should also who engage.
I know he's been busy traveling of late.
Yes, he's been trying to make connections and networks and how to reform the police. But what I'm saying is that it's wrong. Police officers should not engage in such activities. It is wrong, and I think the IG will take the necessary measures to ensure that those found wanting will face the full force of the law.
Okay, interesting one. Earlier on, I asked you about documents being issued locally, and you said everything was going fine. Apparently not. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Kindly ask Dr. Cisse what is going on with the printing of residence permits. I submitted mine since February this year, and up till now, I have not gotten my residential permit, and it affects my bank. It's affecting my bank transactions. Since the banks can no longer accept the expired ID for daily transactions.
Well, I addressed this issue with the Minister of Interior last week. But the response was, yes, like I said, it can take some bit of time for you to get it, but sometimes some people don't also follow up. Right now, as they say, there are thousands of cards lying down there where people don't go to claim them. So sometimes if you apply and you don't make a follow-up to go and get, it's not a country where when you apply we mail it to your address. You need to go and get your card. He needs to go and make a follow-up on that card. Perhaps the card is already ready. We have thousands of cards lying there, unclaimed cards. Many people claim that it's not ready, but it's ready. So he needs to go and make a follow-up on that. Like I said, I'm not saying the system of producing ID cards is perfect. It's not 100% as it is. There are clearly some challenges, but at least we are producing. You can say the rate at which we are producing is could be better, slow, but at least we are producing. Okay. There is no crisis situation.
All right. Mahmoud Konjira is an aspiring journalist, and he's got a couple of questions. Good morning, Uncle Peter. As I mentioned yesterday, Dr. Cisse would come and skillfully respond to what Essa said, and that's exactly what he's doing. One, Essa stated that aside from poor human rights records, the Jammeh government was better than the Barrow administration. Many people agree with him, pointing to Jammeh's stronger performance in areas like health, education, and youth employment. The only major credit one might give the current government is infrastructure development. Deal with that before I move on.
Okay, so he mentioned three things. He said healthcare.
Yes.
And that is the indication show that this government has done far better than the Jammeh government in terms of healthcare. The amount of hospitals we've built, Jammeh has not built it. We are building currently 1,500 bed mega hospital.
What Konjira is saying, many people agree with him.
You say many, would
be Essa pointing to Jammeh's stronger performance in areas like health, education, and youth employment.
That's what I'm saying. That is false. Jammeh's performance in these three sectors are far below Barrow's performance, and all indications show that, and we can give you empirical evidence. One, we have built more health centers than Jammeh has built under 22 years. We've built one state-of-the-art, well-equipped health center in Jali, Kiang. We built one in in Tumanna, we build one in Mankamang, we build one in Sisemaja, we build one in Salikenye, we are upgrading the Njao Hospital, we are building 1,500 bed hospital, we are building a new food and medicines testing center. So Jame did not do that. In terms of health infrastructure, we've built more than Jame has built. In terms of providing access to healthcare, we've done more than Jame has done. Now let's go to education. We've built over 6,000 classrooms in 8 years. Every week we build over 15 classrooms every week. We've extended access to education across the country. Now, can you tell me that Jame has done more? Where is the evidence? Now, when it comes to the other one, what did he say?
Youth employment.
Why is it starting? We've created more employment for young people than Jame. Because remember, when Barrow came to power, FDI in the Gambia has increased. Companies have opened up. The fintech sector is booming. We've provided more entrepreneurship training than anybody in the history of this country. So where is the evidence? So I mean, the fact that in every sector, be it social, being developmental, being infrastructure, being human rights, the Barrow government has done far better than the Jame government could have ever imagined to do in this country. So the facts are there, and we are giving you the facts. Let them give me the facts now. They cannot just make those vague statements. Give me the facts. How many classrooms has Jame built in 22 years? How many hospitals and health centers has he built in 22 years? How many youths has he employed in 22 years? I want those facts. I've given you my facts. Now bring your facts.
Point number 2. Dr. Cisse is also denying that Minister Silla said protest isn't organized by the government but by NPP citizens, which is misleading. The government is NPP and NPP is the government. Why didn't they organize a protest before the GALA protest? Doing it afterwards only suggests they are defending corruption, as GALA was clearly against it. I believe Minister Silla should focus on the problems in his own ministry, such as fixing the bad roads, especially now during the rainy season when many are in terrible condition.
Well, what Mr. Silla has done in this sector, no minister has done in the history of this country. The number of kilometers of roads he has built under his watch, no minister has done since independence. That is a fact. So he's doing well. Now, when it comes to the issue about NPP government, NPP is a political party. You need to understand that, yes, it is under the vehicle of NPP that the current government is elected. But that does not make them to be one and the same. NPP is a political party. We have a government. Not all ministers in the government are NPP. And you know that.
Yes, I know you are CA.
I'm CA. Yeah. I'm advised an RP. There are Prof. Gomez is non-political. So there are people, so you cannot mix. Well, you see, there are 3 things people need to understand, Peter. And I think this is basically.
According to Ibrahim Asila, when NPP was just being created, he said every minister is an automatic member of NPP.
No, this shows how tolerant the president is and how he accepts divergent views. He's brought people to cabinet.
So Silla was wrong.
I cannot comment on that. The president has brought people to cabinet who are not even part of his party.
Just tell me that may have been correct at the time.
What I'm saying is that what I'm just trying to put across is that there are people in cabinet who are not NPP. Now, this shows how the president is open.
Babukar Maibo is not NPP, or is he now?
Exactly. I'm not sure. I'm not aware. So what I can tell you is that, you see, there's a difference between a party, the government, and the state. This is basic political science. The party is the vehicle through which a particular government is given mandate to govern. But that doesn't mean that when that mandate is given, the party and the government and the state are fused. This is what we try to avoid from Jame. Under Jame, the party was fused with this government and the state was fused with the government. There was no separation. Everything was fused. The judiciary, everything was confused. But
it's the same.
But now,
whenever there's something, NPP,
that is why.
Whenever there's something for NPP, all you ministers are there.
But that is why when the president goes to NPP events, he goes with his private vehicle. He doesn't go with the state vehicle. Just to make that.
Why do you all have to go? You are not NPP. You are CA. Why do you have to go to an NPP?
I'm part of the coalition. I'm part of the coalition. Ministers are politicians and they have to go to political events. There is no breaking the law there. What is important is that the NPP, as a political party, as an association, duly registered, has a right, and they have a right. They have a right, and they have the privilege to exercise that right to come out and mobilize and show support and show confidence in the ruling government.
Let me finish with Konjira. about the national ID issuance process. I was in Canifing last Friday to collect my ID card, which I applied for on the 12th of last month. I was told to return in 1 month, but when I went back, they said I wouldn't receive it until the end of September due to a system failure. This was deeply frustrating. The minister should ensure the public is given accurate information.
Well, we're aware of some of the challenges. Like I said, I'm not saying that the system is perfect. I've said that.
No,
and
at the beginning you said that, from what you had, everything was going okay.
No, what I'm saying is that there are delays, and I said that, and you heard that. I said there can be delays sometimes, and sometimes it can take a process. And I've discussed this with the Minister of Interior. We are working hard to resolve the issue. What I just said, there is no crisis situation. There is no stop. They are being printed. It can take time for you to receive it, but there is no crisis situation. There is no stop. They are being printed. That is what is important. Now, if it takes 6 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, that's it. That is the system as it is now. But there is no crisis situation. Also, there is no total stop in the production of ID card. They are being printed. That right. I can confirm. And he has also confirmed that.
I'll do this definitely as the last one. I like the minister's quote. Sometimes politics can blind people. And one person politics has blinded is he, the minister himself. People, I don't support Essa. I don't support Essa party. But when it comes to political principles, you can't compare him to Ismaila Ceesay. A person who abandoned his political party and principles to join a party who he himself claimed will never work with President Barrow, even if he offers him a ministerial position. Maybe Dr. Ceesay forgot so easily, but people don't forget easily what he said before becoming a minister. I believe people who believe in principle.
Well, I said...
So apparently Essa has principles and you seem not to have.
Well,
and you've abandoned your party?
Well, again, let me correct him. I'm still leader of CA for his information. If I had abandoned my party, I would leave CA and join NPP. And even if I do so...
What are the chances of that happening one day?
Well, it is my right to do so if I do it.
Okay. So meaning the door is open.
What I'm saying is that I have a right. I have a right to make my own decisions. I have a right to join any party that I want to join. I have a right to work for any government that I want to work for. Nobody can take that right away from me. Now, if anybody wants to come and work for any government, it is your right. So I don't see why that should be an issue. So I wouldn't respond to that in detail. It is his right to have an opinion about me, and I respect that right.
I'm struggling to open the other phone. Okay. This is just a response to something I said on the program yesterday, during the conversation with Essa. This is from Sekou Kamara. Hello, Peter. During your interview with Essa, you mentioned that when the Christian community was under attack, no one stood up for your community and you had to do it alone. Yes, I said that. Then he goes on. I'd like to respectfully point out that while some of us may not have large platforms or loud voices like some of your guests, we have consistently spoken out for all Gambians, including in defense of the Christian community in whatever ways we could in both Jammeh and Barrow administrations, even if only a few noticed, and we have the receipts to prove that. And he sends me a picture of him in a building with a cross, on the wall. So basically, that's that. Well, I must say that, the only criticism I've had relating to maybe the way we Christians are being treated is that we don't have much visibility in the government. But otherwise, yes, we are not being harassed in any way. In fact, we contributed to the election of Barrow, and I don't think we have any reason to be disappointed. Yes, I would like Christians to be considered for more high-profile positions. This was why I welcomed the confirmation of Joe Colley as IEC.
And we have Professor Gomez in cabinet.
Professor, yes, the lone wolf in the cabinet, and we are still. I am still disappointed that on 2 occasions Barrow had the opportunity to put a Christian in the National Assembly, and for whatever reason he failed. And I hope that the situation will change for Christians after 2026. That we will go back to having a National Assembly that is reflective of the mix that the Gambia is.
A microscope of our society.
Yeah. Now, I think everywhere you go in this country, you will find at least one Christian in that community.
I think, Peter, We need to be very proud of ourselves as Gambians. We've created a society, all of us together, both Muslims and Christians, both Jolas and Sarhules and Mandinkas. A society that is inclusive, that respects every tribe, every ethnicity, and every religion. For me, to be honest, that's what I see in Gambia. When I see someone, I don't see what I see as a human being, and that is for me what is important. I grew up with Christians. The person who helped me when I nearly dropped out of school, I was out of school for almost 1 year because my mom was out of town. And then nobody cared about my education. I was just languishing in the streets when I just finished primary 6 and I failed my common entrance. The person who really helped me and put me back to school was a Christian, Master Macaulay, former master of Brigham Primary School. And then we were as neighbors, and I remember spending every Christmas at their house, and then we ate there, we played with the kids. So I grew up in that multicultural, multi-religious society. So I think everybody has that kind of story, all of us, either we live with Christians, or if we're Christian, we live with a Muslim. We need to keep that peace. Yes, there can be omissions sometimes, but these are not deliberate, or these are not intentional in trying to subjugate particular.
I just hope it doesn't happen a third time.
No, I don't think so.
See. Dr. Cisse, thank you so very much for coming.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.